A good night's sleep is vital to having a healthy lifestyle. Some people say it's the most important thing to improve your health, sleep. As we continue to look at ways to improve our sleep, maybe it's a good gut we need to improve our sleep. So we'll find out about it.
Certainly can't hurt. 9 News health expert Dr. Payal Kohli joins us now with more on this. Let's start with the scientific evidence, I guess, connecting them, because you're talking to two pretty bad sleepers here. We've talked about this before in the air, but so anything that could help. But what's the scientific evidence between having a healthy gut and getting a good night's sleep?
So we used to think it's the sleep that causes the gut changes. So if you don't sleep well, you change your diet, you're traveling, you're not going to the bathroom regularly, that's what causes the bacteria in the gut to change. So we thought it was a unidirectional thing, right? The sleep affects the gut. Now we're learning it's bidirectional. In fact, the gut affects the quality and the quantity of your sleep. So not just how long you're sleeping, but even the architecture and the restful nature of your sleep. And the way they found this out is they looked at some teenagers and they looked at those that had nice long sleep durations.
They don't sleep at all anyway. So
but some of them sleep a lot.
What a control group.
Yeah, some of them sleep forever.
And so then they look in their mouth and they see all these diverse bacteria or microbes. And then the opposite also was found to be true. People who have chronic insomnia or trouble with sleep, night shift workers, you know, the people that work on the morning show and such, they have less diversity in their bacteria. So that's when they realize that there's really this bidirectional relationship.
So the bacteria, how does that impact your sleep? I mean, is your body just trying to process it or get rid of it and you're just not able to sleep? I don't understand that.
Tons of different ways. So the first way that the sleep and the gut are connected is nerves. So our brain talks to our gut through the vagus nerve, and our gut talks back to our brain through the other nerves. But if you think about other things, so the bacteria ferments fiber, right? So we eat fiber, the bacteria ferments it, and then it makes these things called short-chain fatty acids. If you have lots of those, you sleep better. So if your bacteria is different, the population of bacteria that lives in your gut is different, you'll have more short-chain fatty acids, better fermentation. That will help. All your serotonin is made, almost all, 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. And that's a precursor for tryptophan, which is a sleep hormone, along with other hormones that help us to sleep better. And then the bacteria in our gut also affects the inflammation, which then affects our sleep. So bacteria changes how much inflammation is in your body, and that changes how you sleep.
Since you used the word inflammation, and we were talking about this before we came on the air, a lot of people will what's the milk latte called?
Turmeric.
Well, that's what they put in it, but it's like golden latte or something like that, which has turmeric in it. Like, is that a good thing if you're talking about inflation? Because that's anti-inflammatory.
It can. So turmeric has been shown to have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effects. You have to be careful about the dose and the way you take it, because raw turmeric can induce a little bit of heartburn or reflux, which can then, of course, worsen things. But a good, healthy dose of turmeric is a great way to sort of turn on your body's natural antioxidant systems for a lot of people. What I usually would suggest is sprinkle it on your food. It's a little easier to tolerate than to just drink it.
Because it's a lot.
Like the taste.
Yeah. Or the pills.
Or the pills. I know. At the end of the day, I mean, for people that have struggled with sleep, I mean, you've talked to me a lot about when you go home from a night shift, don't snack, do things like that, because that's a factor too.
Right.
But will this change like the way doctors treat sleep problems instead of just saying, here's a prescription?
I think completely. So instead of thinking about medications, now we're talking sleep hygiene actually being about changing your gut's bacterial makeup. And the reason it's fascinating, and I'm going to gross you guys out for a second, is because there's something called a fecal transplant, where you take stool from one person and put it into another person's gut to change the bacteria.
Wow, I didn't see that coming. That was not on my bingo card.
To change the bacteria in their gut. And so what they did is they did a couple things. People who had insomnia, Chinese researchers, they gave them people who slept good's fecal transplant. They changed the way they slept. And similarly, in the opposite direction, people who had chronic insomnia, they took their stool and put it into mice, and the mice developed insomnia and didn't sleep well.
Okay, so the science here is pretty solid then.
It seems to be, and now they're working on what's called randomized controlled trials, which are the highest level of evidence, looking at prebiotics, which are precursors to good bacteria.
Yeah.
They feed the good bacteria, and probiotics, and seeing if giving people prebiotics could change the way they sleep. So what they found, the preliminary results have not been published yet, but they reported them, is that the prebiotic group actually tended to sleep better. And similarly, we get a
I'm going to eat some yogurt. I am not doing no transplant.
I was going to say turmeric. We're going to take baby steps before we get to that. Dr. Kohli,
Thank you.